you, Cearán, and thank you, Minister. As you know, Minister, I've spoken many times in this House about the mental health system and also about the gaps where people are falling through. And one area of concern that I have mentioned before is about the dual diagnosis, and certainly people coming from an addictive background when they present, and I gave the case of a young guy from Limerick there recently who arrived at a rehabilitation centre to get detoxed, and unfortunately he was hearing voices, so he showed signs of mental health issues. So then he was referred to A&E, and because he had substances in his blood, the A&E said, sorry, this is a drug issue rather than a mental health. So the dual diagnosis piece is a huge gap, but I'm very happy to support my colleague Senator Boyhan in the amendments that basically want to raise stronger safeguards, and I think the review in this Amendment 41 is very prevalent for that. But also in the Houses, I've also spoken about the particular case of Andrew McGinley and his family, and where he was the co-parent who was not informed of his partner's issues, even though they were disclosed to a professional during her treatment. So unfortunately, we know that co-parent, Andrew McGinley, lost his 3 children. And the story of Conor and Dara and Carla, who were tragically taken from him in circumstances that I believe certainly shook the nation, I believe they could have been prevented. Andrew McGinley has shown extraordinary courage, and he's channeled his grief into advocacy and is looking for reforms and answers. And I know, Minister, he has requested to meet you, to have a meeting with you. But he's also called for sections of this bill to be amended. And I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of amendments before you today. But I suspect that the issues that he has mentioned aren't going to be addressed. But I do want to acknowledge that what you've mentioned before, that medical confidentiality is a complex issue. So trying to reform the law on that is very difficult, and I fully understand that, and it would require a separate bill. But I would appeal to you, Minister, to take account of the issues that are related to confidentiality in a future report. And I don't think anybody in this chamber wants to see what Andrew McGinley has gone through happen to other families. But also, I do want to put a focus on the dual diagnosis piece, which is a separate piece. That's a huge chunk of work, Minister. And I believe if we can join the dots there, I think it would be a game changer. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Cearán.